Yo, what's going on, people? What's going on, people? It's video on the mic. Back again with another Community Corner episode. Shout out to you guys out there. Hope you've had a good week so far. Hope you guys have been productive and doing well. I'm a little tired right now, but we keep it moving, man. We keep it moving. So today's episode we have Jacob. Shout out to Jacob. He is a photographer with wow, I was gonna say within the FTC, but not really. He's a photographer. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna bring him on stage. We're gonna get into his process, get into his shots, show some of his work and stuff. And I met Jacob. I think it was probably versus fighting 11, and cool guy, man, cool Mark. So without further ado, I've given the grand entrance. Welcome to the stage, Jacob.
Oh. I don't think I've been called a cool guy before, so I'll take that. Yeah, nice. Glad to be here, man.
No, thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank you for obviously coming on Community Corner. And pretty much. So I guess let the people out there know who you are, what you do, where you're from, and we'll go from there, really.
Yeah, nice one. First of all, thank you for having me on. It's a privilege, to be honest, like for letting me in the sort of fighting game community in this podcast. So yeah, cheers. So basically I'm Jacob. I'm a photographer originally from Sheffield, so a little bit sort of up north, around that sort of Manchester, South Yorkshire area. I basically started taking photos about 10 years ago whilst I was at university, just as a bit of like a part-time hobby, mainly focusing on things like music, events, that sort of thing. And then when I met you at that first versus fighting that I attended, I was sort of like living in Birmingham for a year with my partner, and just sort of got involved in that way, really. Had a bit of a history with events and doing things like that, so it didn't seem like something too sort of far beyond what I'd be used to doing. And just, ever since then, I've just wanted to come back every year. It's such a good event.
Appreciate that. So I guess first question is, so how did you we'll get to like versus fighting and like FEC stuff. I guess how did you kind of get into like photography? Was it always like something that you're passionate about when you were younger and you kind of studied and stuff? Or
so I've never studied photography. Like,
oh really?
Like not at school, not at college, not at university, anything like that. And I have like good sort of first memories of getting like my first digital camera when I was like 13, like as a gift from my dad. And just sort of using that at like events like round the garden on family holidays, that sort of thing. And then I kind of like in between then and sort of university, I just sort of like would pick it up occasionally and then sort of come back to it. But what sort of got me into photography was I was doing journalism at university.
Okay.
I was, writing a lot of different articles about different things. I sort of got interested in music and that sort of area. I found myself going to lots of gigs and doing lots of write-ups. And I think probably about a year into that, I started thinking, like, God, my writing's not that good. And also, like, I used to find it so, like, laborious to, like, 500-word review on a show. I'd be kind of, like, sat at the keyboard, like, struggling for words. And then I sort of saw someone else taking photos and thought, oh, maybe that's something that I'd enjoy doing. I've, like, taken photos in the past. And then once I did that, I just kind of never stopped, never looked back. Nice. I started off like I was terrible, but through sort of like learning, speaking to other people over time, I sort of got better at that. And that's kind of how I got into photography.
So in terms of like learning and stuff, did you kind of, obviously you said you didn't really study, was it more of you just trial by error, just learning as you went along on jobs? Or was you like watching like YouTube tutorials and things like that, or just how did you find like the learning process?
I think I made the initial mistake of thinking, oh, how hard can it be? And that led to some really bad photographs. But I think the majority of it's been like trial and error. At certain points I've like sat down and talked to people about different things, had like a little bit of help and input from others. But mainly trial and error. I've not really delved into the whole sort of like YouTube photography tutorial side of things, unless I'm like looking for something really specific. Just because I find it's quite like overwhelming knowing where to even go.
To start.
Like like so much out there, so much gear stuff, so much like actual stuff, like working out what's useful for you in that moment. It's like quite difficult.
Exactly. And you don't want to buy something that's above your level, and obviously lenses and things aren't cheap and stuff like that. So it's like knowing where to kind of start essentially, because I think when I started, as you say, it's overwhelming because like I watched a few YouTube videos, I got like my basic camera at the time, and then it's like, well, what do I do now? And it's just, so I'm a kind of person that kind of learn, I say trial by error, just trial and error, just how I do stuff. How does it work? Does it look good? No, let me try this instead. And just, I think that's how I've been in terms of like my design work, because it's just a lot of trial and error and going from there. So I found that helped me like learn essentially. So how long were you doing it before I guess you were confident enough to kind of put yourself out there as, I am a photographer, hire me essentially?
I mean, you're assuming I'm there now.
No, you definitely are. You definitely are. As we're getting to your work and we're show, like you definitely are.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's always like a little bit of doubt there. Do you know, like, oh, I'm going to be able to deliver the images that the person wants, but I guess like maybe sort of, I don't know, maybe like a couple of years in, I started to, like, people would, like pay for work, or it might be that I'd send like my portfolio across of what I've got, like sort of like doing like a cold email essentially, and people be quite interested, or be like, oh yeah, no, that looks really cool, we'd love to have you there, or we'd love to have you down. I think that sort of like, after doing it for maybe like even 3 or 4 years, because at the time it wasn't like I was out there every week taking hundreds of images. It was very much when I had the time, like outside of my studies. I was also working part-time as well. So so it took a while to get to a point where I felt like I could, like deliver like a good set of images that I was proud of, basically. But yeah.
What was one of the first, I guess, paid jobs that you kind of took on essentially, if you can remember, like, and how did it feel like once you had done the job, like I guess during the job, and then once it was done and it was delivered, like how did you kind of feel like, okay, I've achieved it now? How did you feel? Like what was on the first one?
Like honestly, I probably can't remember.
Yeah. You've done so many now. You've done so many now.
Do you know what I also said? There was, so like my first sort of, I guess, like paid job where, I don't know, it felt like kind of a step up in a way, rather than working with, like maybe an individual band or a person would come to me and be like, oh, can you just do this? And it might even be like a friend of a friend. But the first one where it was sort of like almost like a company or an events organization. It was like a music festival in Sheffield, where I was based at the time. And essentially, they'd not managed to book a photographer. And I was emailing just to go in as like essentially press and just take some images for like a local blog or something like that. And they just came back to me and just like, look, we've not managed to get a photographer. We've looked at your work and we really like it. Would you be our team essentially for this festival? And I think then that felt like kind of a big deal. Because it was not something that I'd done before. There was kind of there's that little bit of pressure there, isn't there? Like you're delivering for an event and then those photos. So I think that felt like a big step up in a way. And in terms of how I felt, I think I was just like, probably like, I felt like I could do it. So I was in like a position where I knew that I could produce the pictures, but I was still like dead nervous. It was definitely like, I was like editing on site as well, which is what you do at like the fighting events as well. And it's kind of like, I mean, you'll know what that's like. It's just manic, isn't it? It's hectic.
Proper fast paced. Like
and you can think you're prepared for everything, but I guarantee like halfway through the day something will stump you. And work your way around that. So I think that sort of like felt like the first like paid job where it was like, something where it really felt like I was moving forward with it.
Nice. So like I'd say you mentioned versus fighting. How did you even, because you mentioned that you've done like music photography and things like that with bands and gigs. So how did you end up at versus fighting? Do you play like fighting games? Do you have like a general interest in fighting games, or how did that even come about that you ended up at versus fighting, which would have been?
I'm not going to pretend that I know a load about fighting games. Like I'll just come unstuck immediately. Other than playing like Mortal Kombat when I was like 11 on my stepbrother's PlayStation 1 or whatever it was, and just getting absolutely annihilated every time. Aside from that, I've always sort of been into gaming in general. I played sort of like Call of Duty and FIFA and come on, like I've always like been into gaming really, and I never like watch people play games either. And then when the pandemic hit, funnily enough, I had a lot more free time where I was like stuck inside, and I kind of like discovered this world of like Twitch streams and watching people on YouTube, stuff that I'd not previously been like massively into. And then it sort of like I just became really interested in it. And at this point, I was doing a lot of music stuff, and I'd never really thought to pair the two together. And when I was in Birmingham, I was away from sort of like family, usual friends, and I just had like more free time. And that like essentially just led me to sort of like looking at like, I think I remember the Google search was like esports events Birmingham. See if there was anything around. I saw versus fighting, and I just did basically dropped an email. I think it was Justin got back to me, and I was like, oh God, he got back to me, like that's nice. And I think he essentially just said like, oh, just come on down, check it out, don't worry about bringing your camera. But I did anyway, and that was kind of like my introduction to it. And just basically shot loads of pictures, edited them really quickly, put them out on socials. I think I took a lot of pictures of just people just attending and having fun, like I would at other events, and I think people seem to like that. So that's kind of how I got into versus fighting and sort of meeting people in the fighting game community.
Yeah. So how did you find it going there? Like for your first time, was it like a lot different to like say like obviously a music gig, for example, or were there kind of similarities? And did you kind of have to approach it differently in terms of taking shots and stuff, like to account for like lighting and other things like that, really?
So, I mean, first of all, like I walked in and I was like, this is mad. This is huge. Like, I was like, wow, I did not expect it to be like this many people here. So I think that was like it wasn't so much like overwhelming, because obviously a gig environment's like loads of people as well. But I was just like impressed at the size of the event. I think like my approach was very much like I was aware that I'm not part of that scene. So I think my initial thought was just, like, make sure you don't get in the way, like make sure you're respectful, taking photos. People like look like maybe they don't want the photo taken, don't take it. Like just all those sort of things.
Yeah, just general things.
To be like as respectful as possible, really. But I remember it was in terms of like lighting as well. I think doing things like music and events, quite often it's in like a pitch black room or really challenging lighting. So I think from that side of things, I was kind of used to it, and used to the sort of like, you're going to be there for like 10 or 12 hours. For a long time after that. You're going to kind of be sat waiting for moments to happen. And for me, like if I've not played the games, it's going to be so much harder to like know when they're going to come, and so things like that.
Nah, that's fair enough. I remember this shot was really good. I remember Tetsu put it as like his profile picture. He might still have it as his profile picture, actually.
Yeah, I think he like dropped me a message at one point because he wanted to use it for something. I was like, go ahead, man. I think he was getting heckled, wasn't he, for not using it for preset or
So how did you find it, like coming from after versus fighting, and you kind of edited the photos and stuff? How did you find, I guess, like for yourself personally, how did you find the event, overall environment and stuff? And in terms of the photos, how did you find the reception from the people that obviously saw the photos that you shared?
Well, I really enjoyed the event, first of all. I thought it was really good. There was lots of it was a hyped up event. I think the year that I went, the first year, there was quite a few Birmingham people competing as well, and they were doing quite well. So there was like a real atmosphere. Obviously, going back year on year, I've seen that there's an atmosphere every year. But that definitely it kind of hooked me a bit. Do you know, seeing people get really into it. There's so many like photogenic moments that these sorts of events, whether it's people that have maybe got a grudge match coming up, or if it's people that have got progressed further than they ever have before, and you can kind of just tell based on the crowds of who's watching who, when something's sort of cooking up or something's going to happen.
So you can kind of get a feeling. Basically, that's good because obviously you coming from outside the FGC toasters, you wouldn't know. Okay, this player versus this player. You wouldn't really know the players to that extent. So still being able to kind of sense moments is obviously a natural ability that you have, which is really cool, man.
Yeah, it can get quite loud in there as well. So sometimes it's not hard to spot when something's going to happen. If if you're in one part of the venue, you can just hear people sort of
and it's okay, let me hop over.
It's kind of like a good indication that something's going down.
Definitely. No, that's good, man. So obviously you've gone on. Shout out to Shanna as well. Shanna was on one of the earlier episodes as well. Obviously another photographer within the FGC, and again, this shot that you got is the perfect shot.
I was so happy with this shot, to be fair. And it was it was pitch black as well there. It was so dark, but I think it was just the way they looked at each other, and I was just quickly just trying to capture it. I just thought it was a really sweet moment.
No, 100%.
I think I'd never spoken to Shana at this point either. I think I spoke to her at the following event.
Same. I only spoke to her the last year's one as well.
But they remembered that I'd taken that photo, and it was lovely to meet them both. I think I talked about recreating it, and then we never did in the end. But I just thought it was such a nice photo, and the red.
100%, man. So I think we've obviously you've gone to the first event, and obviously there's been a good reception with the photos that you've taken and stuff. And I guess how did it compare to one of the other normal the gigs and stuff in terms of just the actual editing process and your process? Was it different, or was it generally just the same in terms of editing and stuff?
So it in terms of editing, it's kind of similar in a way, or at least that's how I try it. When it's if it's a music festival and I'm a part of the festival team, then it's different in the sense that I'll be editing on site, you're working with lots of other people to cover lots of different stages and different artists. Whereas versus fighting, I was there just as myself. I didn't have that pressure to edit on site and get things out quickly. I did tend to edit on the day or the evening just to kind of get it out ready for the next day, just so people can have a look at it. One thing that was massively different is though I felt people interacted with it way more than when I've done music festivals.
Oh really?
Absolutely. Just a gallery with all the people involved was getting would get way more traction than a picture of a mega artist. Just because I feel those things are just out there and anyone can access them, and to stand out with a music photo of an artist that's been photographed hundreds of times is difficult. But if you're putting it out to the community that's interested in that event and's there and appreciates pictures of them, then I think that it did really well. That's not necessarily why I sort of came back as well. It was obviously I enjoyed the event as well, but it's nice to see people engaging with it, especially when I did feel I wasn't part of that community. So to see that community engaging with it was nice.
And I think on that side it's more personable to the people that are in the photos, or someone that will see their friend in the photo or see a moment, and then that's where obviously they're sharing it and stuff like that. But there's definitely a lot of great photos that you took. I guess which out of the ones that you've taken? No, first of all, I'd ask how many photos on average do you think you took over the weekend, and then how much does that get whittled down to? What is the process to whittle down these photos?
Okay, a lot. So I think the first one I probably took way more than I ever did. Just because it was so hard to follow what was happening.
Because there's so much going on over the weekend, and there's so many floors, and there's so many different spaces where things could potentially be happening. So
and I was trying to work out what rooms look nice. I don't think it's on my portfolio because I think this was like the second year that came. But yeah, I was probably talking like I'd say I would like 1,000 a day maybe, like maximum. But that's a lot of photos to go through. And I'd essentially just sort of like get back home and just like flick through them. You kind of like remember like areas where maybe something happened, or I might have like looked at the back of my camera and been like, oh, that's great. Like, so I'd be quickly trying to kind of like filter through those, and then I'd make probably from like those like 1,000 photos, I'd maybe make like 70 or 80 selects.
Oh wow,
which is it's like a heavy cut down, but still quite a lot to like edit.
100%, because I think I remember funny enough when I was on with Shanna, I think she maybe a week before she had put up that she took like maybe 10,000 photos. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, how have you even taken that many photos, and how are you whittling that down? Like, I think I probably took maybe across the course of the weekend, probably like maybe over 2,000, and then I whittled it down. I say whittled it down. There's about like 900 photos or something in the final poster, but because obviously I've got to cover pretty much the whole event, it's like, let me make sure that, and then I've got like photos of people and just like obviously poses and stuff and less candid ones and things. So, but yeah, it's definitely that. What do you use in terms of like camera equipment? Like,
so I'm essentially using like the first like DSLR that I ever bought.
Oh wow, okay.
So I used to like not rent. Like the university had when I was studying had like a media department, and I just like basically sign out their DSLR and sign it back in. And it was like a Nikon D300 or something like that. So it wasn't like a particularly good camera. So I learned on that, and then I spent like a summer just like putting in like a lot of shifts at a restaurant because I was going to buy a full frame camera basically.
Oh, fair enough.
So and I use that, but I've got a Nikon D750.
Okay.
Which is like, to be fair, I think they're probably like 12, 13 years old now. So it's not like in any way new gear. And then I've got like a couple of sort of like low light lenses for that. So
nice.
I use like a 50mm prime, which I mean I'll go into camera stuff, but it's like f1.4 aperture, which is super like less light as possible, which I think I use for these sorts of photos, like during the auditorium. And that's kind of like set up behind like a screen, and there's like a small gap, and I was just like shooting like wide open there. And then I've got like a 24-70, which is like a bit of a zoom lens, and then I've got like a bigger 70-200. Nice. All of which were purchased secondhand as well, because you know we've got to like pay for other things.
Exactly. And like
very easy to fall down like that slope of buying loads of camera gear.
Exactly, and then you need to make sure you get the use out of them and know how to use them and stuff. Because I started on Nikon. The first camera that I bought was Nikon. It was 300. I think that was my first one, and then that carried me probably till last year, I think. And then I was in and out, and then I was using it because it was functional for versus fighting, but I was like, I kind of need to step up. So I got a smaller Sony one now, and then I think maybe next year I'll get like a proper Sony one, because I'm just using the ZV-10 for now, but the lens that I have is pretty cool. And like in terms of portability and stuff as well, it helps. But again, I'm still in the learning process, and it's like when I'm ready, when I feel like I'm ready, then I will step off.
I've seen you running about as well. Like, I would not want to run about with like my camera and that lens on it. My back. Your back kills anyway at the end of it. Like, every event, that would just be like pain.
And that's the thing. Obviously, I'm up and down all floors, all rooms, and I'm literally running around. So it's like I need something that I can use just to take the shots, and say the quality is good and whatever else and that. But I think, like, when I get more time to kind of dedicate towards it, I will obviously step up. So in terms of your editing process, is there any kind of, do you take any kind of specific steps, or is it more of like a case by case basis? Like, or do you have like a set, okay, I'm going to do this is first, and then I'll edit from there? Is there any specifics that you're looking for? Like, within the shots that you're obviously starting to edit?
Yeah, so for like an event like this, obviously I'm going to potentially be editing like, I think I said I made like 70 to 80 selects, but it could be more than that. It could be like 120 like per day. So usually I'll kind of like, I'll first of all, I use Lightroom to edit, which is like an Adobe software. Like you can pretty much, like you can do most things in there. And I'll select maybe throughout the day, like within that like 120, maybe like 10 or 12 photos, but with different lighting conditions.
Yeah.
So like during like the main auditorium where like lights coming in, I might select like one from there, like a close up, like a crowd shot, and then I'll just kind of like build a preset for each of those and just name them, like, you know, it might be like main room daylight or I wouldn't want to show anyone the naming process basically. It's the messiest thing ever, and there's like hundreds of them, and at one point they made sense, now they don't. But yeah, so I'll essentially do that and then try and apply one of those to sort of every image, and then just tweak little things within it.
Just go through and
like for example, if I'm adding like a bit of grain or like a certain tone curve, that'll largely remain the same. I might just tweak like exposures and things like that. But that sort of helps get a consistent style across the event. I do feel though like I've still not kind of found a consistent style for this sort of event. Like I think the photos you're showing now, like I feel like I got some nice photos, but I feel like I would definitely like crush the blacks way too much. So like they are like quite like really like contrasty, which now I probably wouldn't do. But it's all just, I think it's all just kind of like learning and you know, like,
again, that trial and error process of okay, well I tried this time, maybe I don't do it the next time. But I think these photos are great personally. Like,
thank you. I think as well, like I think photographers as well, like we're always going to be critical.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll like leave and you'll be like, some photos you'll be like, yes, I've got that, and others you'll be like,
oh, There's definitely times I've looked back and I'm like, no.
Or I like dislike a photo and someone will go, I love that photo, and I'm there like, why do you like that one? Like, I hate it.
It's exactly that. It's exactly that. It's exactly like we are our own worst critic, as they say. Like
for sure.
But again, it's part of the process, because I think there's maybe 1 year, maybe 2018, maybe I've probably like for some reason I said, you know what, I'm gonna desaturate these photos and like to the like they're still coloring them, but I was like, I'm just gonna do it, and then I did it across the board, and the photos look fine. But sometimes I look back and I was like, why did I do that now? Like
you'll have seen someone, won't you, being like, that looks really cool. I'm going to apply it to all my images.
I've
done that as well. Like, I know there was a big trend for like desaturating images as well. I feel like my only thing now is that I just will not touch that clarity bar and push it.
Never.
That's like my biggest error that I made early on, and I'm afraid of touching it now. I'll take clarity out, but I'll never add it in.
This is a really cool shot. I like this shot. This is really
just looking at the prize before it's even won.
Exactly. So I guess when you're taking photos again, is there any other than the obvious, like, you know, people's reactions and things like that? Is there anything else? And this can go across the board as well in terms of like your music stuff as well. Is there any kind of specifics that you look out for in terms of, okay, I need to get this shot, or this will make it a good shot? Are there any like specifics, or is it just as you go along and you kind of pick your moments, I guess?
Yeah, I think it is largely like pick your moments. If we're looking at like events, so like this is a music festival in Sheffield called Get Together. And I've worked on that was the first festival that kind of gave me the chance.
Nice.
And now I've like worked for that festival for a number of years. They do other festivals as well, so I've kind of been lucky enough to work with them on those. But there is almost like there's not a hard like written shot list, but there's certain things that you kind of want to capture, like, you know, like the crowd having fun, like a wide shot at the back to show like the full sort of
the scale,
and then like individual pictures of bands and things like that. So it's a little bit of that. Again, like if it's things that I think about, like if I've photographed a band before, like what do they do potentially that's interesting? For example, this photo here, this is...
I'll go back.
Yeah, go back. And I'll talk about that one as well, actually, because that one's got a story to it as well. But so this one's CMAT, and I'd seen her like a week before, just like like seeing the stage show, and I knew that it was going to be like wild, and she had all these choreographed dance moves and like, all this stuff. So I was like, I set up for that. I was like, right, she's going to be moving fast. I need to make sure I've got like the right lens. I'm going to start in this spotlight. So sometimes you have that luxury, and then like the next photo on, I think I was like sat eating lunch on like a 30-minute break. I just like burst into like the room going like, oh, he's like singing to this man, like right in his face on the stage. And I was like, right, okay, well, I'm gonna have to stop eating and go get out. I just sort of like mad dash to the front, and then just managed to get it in like the last couple of lines. But yeah, so it's so like, I think like with events as well, like you can sometimes plan for it and it works out if you've got that like insider knowledge or luxury. But a lot of the time, it's going to be reacting to certain things. Sometimes you're going to get it, sometimes you're just not. Yeah, I can probably think of like shots that I haven't got like very easily, just like that I kick myself for. But you can't be everywhere at once, can you? So
you can't. You're only one person.
For sure. But yeah, I mean, like for like versus fighting as well. Just I think. One thing that I really wanted to do was just like capture the people that are attending as well, because I think it's quite a unique event in the UK as well in terms of like having the crowd like just sort of like blend in with all the things that are happening. So like including those people within it. I always feel like that's something that I try and focus on as well as having like someone pop off and just like have a great moment. Like it's trying to include other people as well, which is really good.
Oh, that's cool. So do you have any, like, if there's someone that's watching now that kind of wanted to start out in photography, would you have any advice for them, like in terms of getting started and how would they get started? Or
you know what, like I feel like I've not made it enough to give like advice. I can tell you what I think, but I'm not
okay. Tell us what you think. Like, tell us what you think.
There'll be like other people that have different opinions. And I think that's okay as well. So like, I guess for me, I think like just like actually taking photos is one thing. So like just don't obsess over gear. Like just use what you can. Like some people are going to have like amazing stuff, other people aren't, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't like go and take photos, have fun, and also produce something great. Like I feel like a lot of what it comes down to now as well is like how you edit photos, how you stand out, how you like take different pictures at an event to someone else, like, and you don't need like the best gear to do that. I feel like I'm very lucky to have like the photography gear that I have, but also like a lot of it's secondhand. It's not worth that much anymore. Like it quickly like goes down in value. That's one thing, and then also just being nice to other people. I feel like, but most of the people I know are, and like most people that I talk to, like the photographers are super nice. But I think that makes like a massive difference. You're gonna learn from those people. Like you can bring each other up. Like I have a lot of jobs that come from other photographers where it's like, oh, I'm on holiday, can you cover this for me? And I'll be like, yeah, thank you for that. And then when I'm away or can't make a job, I'll message them, like, and then they'll cover it. And like I've had it before where like I might be working with a band and I've referred someone and that band works with them like for like years to come. And I'm not like sat there like, oh god, like why didn't I? It's more like I'm really glad that those people gelled. And they're like thriving, and then it might be the same for them. They might refer someone, and they might like my work, and I just feel like that's like super nice and important. Just being nice to other people, and I think as well, like a lot of like, especially like when it comes to like trying to get paid work and things like that. Like people will rather work with someone that they get along with, and
of course,
a nice person who's not going to like say the wrong thing or push his luck too much and things like that, rather than like someone who's problematic or those things. Saying that though, I obviously recognise I'm in quite a privileged position as well, so it's not straightforward for everyone, is it?
Yeah, fair. Do you have any kind of I guess photographers that inspire you, or like you like their work and you're kind of inspired by them?
Oh, man, that's a tough question.
Is that another?
Because there's just so many. Many. like, so I think like from music, there's absolutely loads. I'll sort of shout out like friends.
Yeah, feel free.
There's a guy in Sheffield called Tom Sunderland. He does like some amazing music photography, and like the people that I work with in Sheffield, like there's a girl called Lindsay who does lots of amazing music photos and stuff like that. Who we often work together with those people, and there's like nice local photographers as well. If I'm looking sort of like more towards like versus fighting and gaming, just everyone I've met at versus fighting, so. I know there's like I think you had a few on the podcast.
Yeah. It was on maybe 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah. So obviously I think he's an amazing photographer.
Really cool.
I think I remember that first like versus fighting where I met him. He got like a really nice photo, and I definitely was like, right, next time I go, I'm gonna steal that, get that photo too.
Yeah.
But I think he's like a really talented photographer.
Yeah, 100%, man.
There's like, there's other people there like Drift, who's like seems to do events all over the place. He's got some cracking photos. Shana as well. Like I thought she did some amazing pictures, especially that last one, the one last year. Like a different sort of perspective as well. Like being close to the action, but being able to do that because she seems to know everyone is like so embedded in the scene. So it's kind of really works with that person. So I think that's really nice as well. And then I think just honestly just so many people that I think that I look up to and produce like amazing work as well.
Oh, nice.
And obviously yourself as well.
No, I can't be. I always say like I feel so inexperienced compared to like everyone else that comes to versus fighting as a photographer because I'm so split in terms of what I do. I don't feel like I'm a photographer. I just feel like I'm at the event because I'm part of the team and I just do what I'm doing. And you guys are like the real photographers, man. And I look up to all of you guys. And I'm always like, oh damn, you got an amazing shot right there. And then because I feel like there's a kind of pressure on me sometimes because I am the quote unquote official guy. It's like I feel like there's a pressure on me, and then I see your guys' shots and I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are just like hits me out the park right here. But again, as you say, we're always
you can 100% call yourself a photographer. when I'm sat down having a little break and I'm watching you like run up some stairs to get some like photos, I'm sat there going, no, this guy's the photographer, not me. But taking like 2,000 photos over a weekend, I think that more than qualifies. But
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, man. No, you guys definitely inspire me to obviously learn more and do more, which is one of the reasons why I got you guys on the show as well. Because it's like I think we're all part of like the community scene, and it's kind of like the underrepresented voices, as it were, in terms of like there's so much stuff that goes on with an event in terms of like the players and. They will get the highlights, but you guys made the event essentially. So, but so I think, do you have like a favorite shot of yours in general? Like, first of all, like any kind of favorite shots in general, and then I guess any of the favorite ones that you've taken at any of the versus fighting events.
Yeah. To be fair, so if you go in sort of like that on stage section of my portfolio, I think it's right at the top left.
Yeah.
So. I think if you scroll down a little bit more. So this one here with like the guy screaming into the mic. So
that is how close did you have to get for that one?
So like, I probably wasn't that close. I had like a 50mm. I literally remember everything I had for this. I had like a 50mm prime on because this is like not long after I'd bought like my first DSLR.
Yeah.
I didn't buy it with a lens. I couldn't afford a lens. I got like the cheapest 50mm lens. I think they're going out for like 80 quid. And I went to like this gig. The band's Cage the Elephant. If you've not expecting anyone to have heard of them, they might have now though. And they're like renowned for being like quite a chaotic on stage sort of band. So they're always interesting to photograph. And I'd never seen them before, never photographed them before. Turned up and I was just like, my mind was blown. And he just sort of like stage dived into the crowd at one point. And I think it was just like the right place at the right time. And I think I took maybe about like I must have took hundreds of photos at this one show in like the first 3 songs, because that's all you get as well. And I just remember looking at it and just being like really happy with that photograph. And that's like the funny thing with that one is it was like so early on in like
Wow.
it's almost like I hit the peak, and then from there on out, I'm just gonna be chasing that shot forever.
No, this shot is crazy. This shot is really crazy.
Yeah, I've always liked that shot. Like I've taken a lot out of my portfolio like over time, but that one's always kind of like stuck around in there.
That's really sick for all, man.
Yeah, and then so sort of through here, there's like loads like I love the one with the guy in the crowd. That was that's a band called Shame at Live at Leeds Festival where I work on the photo team for that. And I mean, again, another like such a photogenic band in terms of like being like entertaining. And I was just really happy with that shot. I thought like compositionally it was okay, and just captured like the essence of the festival and also the band too. And I love some nice colours too. So
the colours.
Some light landed on them, so I could put some colour in there too.
Definitely helps, man. I think one of the photos that I remember from you specifically from the Versus fight, and I've probably already shown it. I remember, was it this one or was it the year after? It's the Ryan Hart one. I think it was.
Oh, it is this year, and I think it's literally, you can see it there.
Have I gone past it?
Last page, yeah. It was like, I think it's third down on the left.
There we go.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing it on socials, like when you put it up, and I was like, it's like it's a simple shot, but the framing and everything's like is just sick. So did you kind of just walk past him and was like, okay, that's cool, I'm gonna take the shot? Like,
yeah, I'll be totally honest. Like, I'm not afraid of being honest. I didn't even know who this was. I was just like, oh, that is such a cool jacket. Like, I love that jacket. I love that like Cab 1 is above it. And I took it and I was like, oh, this is a really nice photo. And then I think, I don't know if it was someone else that like told me who it was.
Yeah.
Or I worked it out later on, like just like, looking at other people's photos. And I was like, oh, that's kind of convenient, isn't it? That's kind of worked out okay. But yeah, it was like really pure love. I just love like the framing of it.
Yeah.
I thought like the jacket's like incredible. I love that they're playing on Cab 1 as well. Like you know, it's just like everything sort of like fell into place.
It's literally a perfect shot, man. It's sick, man. It's sick.
And I think I put it on socials, and I think he ended up like using it as a profile picture for a little bit.
Yeah. I'd say there's a few, obviously Tattoo did. There's a few that have probably used your photos as profile pics, to be fair.
It's always a nice compliment, isn't it?
It is definitely 100%. I think one or two have done the same with some of the photos that I took us on, and you get like a sense of you did a good job, man. You did a good job. You kind of feel like, okay, if they're gonna use it as their profile pic, but no, that's sick, man. That's sick, man. So I guess what's next for you in terms of like events? Any kind of things coming up soon for you, or?
I'm back sort of. I've had like quite a quiet year, to be honest. Sort of like January, February, March. I'm sure you know it's like the 9 to 5 gets busy and and time just evaporates, doesn't it?
100%.
Yeah, I do kind of like a little bit of sports stuff as well.
Oh, we didn't even get into the sports stuff. Actually.
No, I don't need. You don't need to share everything. Don't worry.
No. This is your episode. This is your platform, bro. Like, I forgot we didn't even get into some of the sports photos that you've done, man. Like, it's just sick stuff, man. Like, So how is the sports stuff, and what do you enjoy the most in terms of photography wise? What do you enjoy like taking photos of the most?
I honestly like. I think I enjoy taking photos. I think what I quite like is it gives you like an opportunity to just experience different things. Like, I mean, to be fair with this sport, I watch this sport. Okay. I would never in a million years play it. Like, and I'm content with that. But like, I think it's interesting. Like, it gives me the opportunity to speak to people that do, like, meet new faces, like just see what that's like. And it's the same for like, even with like versus fighting as well. Like, I play games, but I don't necessarily play those games all the time. But it's really like nice to have like to be able to go there and like interact with those people and see what it's like. And I think that like having a camera just gives me that sort of like ability to do that. Like, if you can like like provide a bit of value for this team as well. Like for example, this team, like it's run entirely by like volunteers.
Okay.
They're all really passionate about it. They all love it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these players aren't going to go on to like make it in the professional sense. It's fun. Like there's a real sense of community. So it's nice to be able to like to go in and be part of that is a real privilege, but also to like give them something as well, like provide something like that they can use to help like market their club. It's also really nice. So I think that's kind of like what I enjoy about it. And I've done like some like ice hockey photos for like, I think it's the Sheffield Blazers one. They're like a local recreation team. And they were really trying to like grow their like social media presence and things like that. And I started off, I think I did like a couple of games for them, like just to sort of build up my experience. But then they sometimes come back to me with like paid work and stuff, so that's really nice as well. But yeah, it's just nice to kind of like, you know, be able to go into those spaces and like meet those people, photograph what they're passionate about. Like, I just feel really lucky to be able to do that. They're a fun bunch, these guys. Like some of the games are quite tasty. Like it's it's really fun being able to do that.
Yeah, that's really sick, man. That's really sick, man. So so what's next for you in terms of events coming up?
Sorry, I totally just like
because I completely forgot the
sport, didn't I?
It's my bad. I completely forgot the sports section was on there, man. Like,
I'm just kidding. But yeah, no. So next, I've got I think like sort of like April, May, a couple of music festivals. They're kind of like 1 day type events that are local to me. One's in Sheffield, one's in Leeds.
Yeah,
a couple of things like that. I'm doing some photos for like a local football club near me called like Hallam FC, which is not on my portfolio at the moment, but kind of like doing a bit of stuff like that. Doing my first like wedding this year.
Oh, nice.
Which I'm probably like the most nervous I've ever been about.
Yeah, but like there's a lot of pressure with weddings.
I've always said I'll never do it. I'm never gonna do it. Like it's just too. I don't want that stress. And then like I feel like it's just when it's like the right offer or like the right person, or do you know what I mean? Like it was like, oh, if I'm ever gonna do it, like this is probably
if you're gonna get your feet wet, go and do it now. Like fair enough.
Yeah, so like I'm doing that, but
best of luck with that, man. Best of luck with that, because I think I've done one years ago, and I was kind of like a support photographer. So my friend was the mate, and she just said, "Oh, can you come along and help out?" And even though I was only like the support, I still felt like all the pressure in the world. It was because it's their day, it's their special day, it's their moment. You want to get the shots and all of that, but now you'll be fine, man. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I totally agree though. Like if you like mess up on that day, there's no like, next weekend we're doing it again.
It's not like a versus fighting where like I will take a million shots at versus fighting and I can pick and choose, like, because we're playing games and there's only so many shots that you can get at people playing games or reacting to stuff. So it's less pressure.
And if you miss it in that like dark room, no one's seen you miss that shot. Like you could just be like, oh no, I wasn't even there. Like
exactly. Or somewhere else. Like exactly.
Like no one knows. But at a wedding, there's none of that. You can't hide anywhere.
No, I'm sure you'll be fine, man. I'm sure you'll definitely be fine, man.
So that's kind of like what my year's looking like. I'm doing a lot more. I kind of set myself a goal to do like a personal project this year. So like pick sort of something and just try photographing that. I'm not gonna like say what that is.
Okay, that's fine.
Then I'll definitely have to do it, which is
no, that's
like, you say something out loud like, I'm doing this, then people
and then how people are expecting you to do it, like,
but I think that'd be really nice just to do something just like for me and not worry about like it becoming like some sort of like content that I've got to push out there. Just
there's no pressure on it. It's you in a personal project and like for your own learning and development, which is sick, man.
Exactly. And I'll find a way to make that stressful anyway, so you know what I mean.
I like these football shots, man. I'd love to be able to do like football photography, to be honest. I'm a big football fan. Like,
you should just go do it, man. Like with time permitting. That's a big one. I feel like as well with like the football stuff, like I know I cannot take good like photos of the game, but a football club will love it if you just take loads of pictures of the fans so they can just mark it So like, you know what I mean? Like, there's always a way. They're always super appreciative. But
yeah,
you should definitely go do that. I'm sure you do a grand job.
No, that's sick, man. That's sick. No, that's sick, man. That's sick, man. Where we'll be seeing you this year at Versus Fighting, perhaps?
Do you know what? Like, it may be a Sunday only trip for me because that one wedding that I'm doing is on the Saturday, and I'm a little bit good about that. But I think I'll definitely be, coming to relax after the wedding for like that.
Fair.
But yeah, I'll definitely try and get down for it.
These are cool. For... That's cool.
No, I didn't realize it had clashed either, and I was kind of like gutted afterwards when I checked. You're kidding! Like the one weekend I've done that. I'll definitely be coming to them though for the foreseeable, as long as you guys will have me. Like,
I will appreciate you, man. We're appreciating the work that you've done for the event, and again, everyone is part of the bigger picture. Essentially, pardon the pun. And it's just like, we appreciate it. So I guess we can wrap up now. But before you go, have you got any shout outs or anything that you want to send to people, or just?
Yeah, I mean, I just love to shout out all the photographers that take photos of Versus Fighting. Basically, honestly, I had such a good time, like chatting to a few and go a few. Like, I think he helped me out massively, like in terms of like who everyone is. I'll be taking pictures of like, do you know who that is? And I'm like, mate, no, I've got no idea. That's the big person, like, how do you not? So like that was obviously so nice, and like that's been great. Just everyone that I've talked to, like when I spoke to Shana, it was lovely to like meet that person. Meeting yourself as well, like you always look knackered, but you always like to smile and have a bit of a chat, like just him for letting me come along to the first Versus Fight, and just all you guys that make it happen. Like I turn up for 3 days and just have a good time and take photos. I'm sure. I mean, I know that there's like so much more that goes into it than that.
Yeah, like, if only you knew. If only you knew.
I'm sure. Like it's already started.
Like, it has definitely already started.
Exactly. So like, honestly, like, I appreciate that so much, and even having me on here, man. Like, I really appreciate.
No. It's a pleasure to have you on, man. Like as I say, I think when I started this, it was literally after last year. I was like, you know what, I kind of want to, because there was so many people and so much community members and people that kind of don't get the shine. I was like, you know what, let me just try, and anything that I can do to try to help spotlight on them, I can do it. And you want, as I said at the start, you're one of the cool guys, man. And I was like, I'd love to have you on and have a discussion and chat with you. So again, thank you for your time. I appreciate you coming on, first of all. It's been a great chat. And I'm sure obviously we will see you on the Versus Fighting next year on the Sunday, hopefully, but we will definitely catch up soon, man. Again, I appreciate the time. Everyone out there watching, thank you so much. Where are we? I lost my track of time. So we're gonna wrap up this episode for now. As I say, Jake, shout out, you've not shouted out your socials and stuff as well, to be fair.
I mean, so if I mainly use Instagram. I think it's just something like Jacob_Flannery. If you give that a follow, like, you can pretty much find all my other work. I'm pretty terrible for having like multiple social media accounts for different things. But it's all, if you start there, then anything that you want to find.
Which I realized today when it wasn't today, it's in the week. I tried to tag you on Instagram and I was like, okay, there's this account here, and then there's another account. Which one do I tag? And it's like, and then on Twitter, I remember these visuals by Jake, because I was like, oh, what? So he's visual by Jacob on the old X, and you'll find everything else from there. Thank you so much. Before we go, shameless shilling, of course. LittleMiloBooks.com is my set of children's books. I'm an author illustrator. Got plush toys, all that good stuff. LittleMiloBooks.com. Get them for your kids. Shop. Let's say we got coloring books, toys, plush toys, all the rest of it. LittleMiloBooks.com. That's just like my personal side thing outside of Dojo, outside of the 9 to 5 that I kind of try and do. So I always got to shout out my stuff.
Look at those graphics, man. They're amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. And then we got Power Up Penny, which is a book based around games, and I've even done pixel art in there as well. So, but for now, we'll wrap this on up now. Jacob, thank you so much for your time again. I appreciate you, sir. I'll be back. I may be back next week. I think I'm probably going to be back next week with one more episode, and then I think I'm going to take a short break Then got a few like personal stuff to sort out, and then I kind of want to upgrade my camera and stuff. So I'm gonna look into production side of things and stuff. So we'll be back again with probably another fresh look for which could potentially be season 3. So yeah, but for now, again, Jacob, thank you so much. Everyone in the chat, thanks a lot for joining us. Keep an eye on our socials, Electronic Dojo on everything except Instagram, where it's Electronic Dojo UK. Keep an eye on our socials for the next guest, probably next week. As I say, I should be back next week, but definitely after next week, I'll be taking a short break because these times and the evenings are getting on, and I got stuff to do as well. But I appreciate your time, everyone watching. Thank you so much, Jacob. You have a great evening, and we'll catch up soon. See you later, guys. We'll be back. See you later. And that.